everybody, and welcome to your latest edition of Building Relationships, where I am your relationship and development life coach, Jennifer Suggs. And here, what I want to do today is just jump right into our subject, where we are going to have the third edition of building those connections and establishing connections. All right. So what I like to do is give you tips, concepts, things that will help enrich your life and empower you so that you can have a better relationship with God, number one, and then have a better connection, better relationship with yourself, number two, and then, of course, relating to your spouse or those relationships that are very important to you and in your life, all right? So we're going to jump into it. Today, we are going to talk about how to reap the benefits of a healthy connection. So why go through all the work that it takes to make sure your connection to people that are important to you to be healthy? Whether it's at work, whether it's your spouse, whether it's just to yourself, how in the world do we establish it and then reap it? So we're going to start talking about it today. And today the example is going to be with your spouse. So if you are in a relationship where lately it seems to be a lot of maybe arguing, a lot of tension that could be happening between you and your partner, where it seems that you're not seeing eye to eye. You feel like you're being clear about certain things, but the response is not coming back, and you seem to not have that clear connection where what you're giving out is being brought back into you. Well, we're going to try to change that today, So what I want you to get into your mind now is this first thought, where you can never control the other person. You can never control what somebody is going to do. You can never control their response. You should not even have the mindset to demand for somebody else to do something for you. That is not where we're going to go. The first thing we need to look at is it starts with you. If you don't like what you're receiving, if you don't like the connections that you're having with your spouse, then guess what? The beautiful thing is that it is in your power to change it. We can change it today. The Bible tells us in Luke 6:38 that give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. The Bible even talks about how we reap what we sow. All of these different concepts are principles that tells you that it's about what you're sowing. If you're not liking what you're reaping in your life, then let's take a look at what you're sowing. When there's an argument going on between you and your spouse, it is okay for you to stop the arguing. It is okay for you to take a break. It is okay for you to breathe and then shift what's happening by listening to him. Now, why do I say this? Because when two people are arguing, there are a few things that are always the problem. People feel like they're not being heard, not being seen, and that their needs are not being managed or taken care of. So if you feel this way, then it's probably a good guess that your husband or your boyfriend feels the exact same way. How can we change the madness of the arguing? How can we change the madness? Well, you can actually stop. Put yourself to the side for just this moment. Don't worry. You can always bring your case back to the forefront. But first, offer your spouse the love that you want to have in return. Set the precedent that we listen in this household. Set the precedent that we don't need to argue because we really are on the same team. I love you and you love me. So let's take a minute to listen. Wholeheartedly hear what he has to say. Hear what his needs are. And then respond with some type of sympathy and understanding. Allow your language to say to him that not only have I heard your words, but I hear how important and how hurtful these things that have been happening in our relationship is to you. If you don't see it, then continue to talk. Allow him to give you what is on his mind and on his heart. Once you have truly taken that in, allow that to be all that's needful in that moment. Truly take that minute to really shift what's going on. Then when it is your turn, maybe it shouldn't be at that moment, but at some other moment or depending on how your relationship is going, you can certainly begin to talk about what's heavy upon your heart. The point about an argument is that both parties are fighting to be heard and to be cared for and to know that their needs are being met. So you can start to shift what you have going on in your relationship. And the Bible even talks about that those of us that begin to sow sparingly shall reap sparingly. Sometimes you got to have a pattern of listening, a pattern of understanding, a pattern of not going back and forth. You have to sow those things because when you want to reap it, you're going to want him to listen to you. You're going to want him to connect to your pain just as he wants you to connect to his. This is so very important when it comes to how we relate to God and how we relate to ourselves, to begin to honor what's in front of us, to begin to honor that person, to begin to honor what God desires from you, and to begin to honor what's going on and happening within yourself and being self-aware. If you want more information about how to develop these healthy connections, you can always inbox me or email me at powerfulliving@aol.com. You can look me up here, Jennifer Suggs, on Facebook, or you can just reply here in a message and I'll get right back to you. But hopefully today, this little tidbit will help you begin to establish or shift the dynamics that are going on in your relationships. Well, that's it for me today, trying to keep these short. But just live empowered, my people, my sisters. I am praying for you and I am here for you anytime. If you need a person to listen to you, if you just want to run some ideas by someone that will listen and care enough to give you what the Word of God says, then I am your person. Email me or reply to me. All right. Well, that is all for today. You guys live empowered. And until next time, you guys be blessed. Bye-bye.